Hi, I'm Anson Alexander, and welcome to Up and Running with Google AdSense. In this course, we'll look at using Google AdSense to display and earn revenue from advertisements on your website. I'll start by showing you how to set up a Google AdSense account using a new or existing Google account. Then, I'll show you how to use AdSense ad units to start displaying advertisements on your website. We'll see how to identify advertisement trends and maximize the performance of ads being displayed on your website using AdSense performance reports. We'll be covering all of these features, plus plenty of other tools and techniques for you to start earning revenue using Google AdSense on your website or blog. Now, let's get started with Up and Running with Google AdSense. As part of this course, we've included a free handout containing definitions of key terms related to Google AdSense and internet advertising. I'll explain the meaning behind most of the terms as they come up in the course, but it may be a good idea to download and keep the handout close by for quick reference while you're watching the course. In order to make the most out of the Google AdSense tool, it's first important to have an understanding of display advertising in general, how it works, the different ways of implementing it, and what its limitations are. At its core, display advertising is when certain areas of a website or blog are reserved and sold to advertisers for them to promote a particular product or service. The pricing and methods for determining the value of a display advertisement can differ depending on the goals of the website owner. Web ad spots can be sold for a monthly, quarterly, or annual flat rate. They can be sold based on the number of actions a particular ad receives. For example, a website owner might get paid for an ad when a user actually clicks on the ad and submits their email address for more information. This payment method generally benefits the advertiser more than the website owner. Ads can also be sold based on the number of clicks they receive, which means an advertiser pays the publisher a certain amount of money every time a user clicks on their ad on the publisher's website. Display ads can also be sold based on the number of views or impressions that an advertisement receives. This is called CPM, or cost per thousand impressions. Google AdSense uses both the cost per click method of determining the value of advertisements and the cost per thousand impressions method. An impression is simply when a user navigates to a website and sees an advertisement. If a website owner has 3 advertisement spots on one page, when a user navigates to that page, they're actually creating 3 impressions for the website owner because 3 ad spots are being viewed. It's important to understand the difference between a web page view and a web page impression. This method of selling display ads tends to benefit the website owner more than other methods of display ad value determination. Actually selling display ads on a website can be a tedious and time-consuming process. That is where Google AdSense comes into play. Google AdSense automatically chooses the highest paying advertisements to be displayed on a particular website to maximize the revenue that a website owner can make. Now that we have an understanding of the different ways that the value of display ads can be determined, it's important to understand what ad networks are. Ad networks consist of both publishers that will display advertisements on their websites and advertisers that will pay for the ads. Publishers within the ad network set aside specific areas within their site for ads to be displayed from advertisers in the ad network, which is what we'll be doing with Google AdSense. In an ad network, advertisers can choose the keywords and topics of websites that they would like their ads to be displayed on, and at the same time, they also specify the maximum bid price they're willing to pay for their ad. For a particular ad placement location on a website, the ad network will compare the bid price from all of the advertisers that would like their ad to be displayed in the spot. That is, the advertisers that specified the keywords, categories, and topics that are in line with the offered ad position. Of all the advertisers that meet the criteria for the ad position, the one that has the highest maximum bid price set will win the bidding contest and their ad will be displayed in the spot on the website. In turn, the publisher earns the maximum amount possible because the highest bidding advertiser is awarded the ad spot. This comparison and automatic bidding process happens for every single impression served on a website and occurs almost instantaneously. Google AdSense consists of multiple ad networks and therefore does a very good job of finding the highest paying advertiser for a particular spot on a website. It's also important to understand that the ad network a publisher is using basically acts as a salesperson or middleman and saves the publisher a lot of time by automatically comparing bids and offers from different advertisers. Because of this, the ad network takes a cut of the earnings a publisher makes by selling advertising on his or her website. Generally speaking, however, the cut that an ad network takes is less than the expenses a publisher would incur if he or she was selling advertisements directly. To make the most out of AdSense, it's important to have an idea of which situations are the best fit for using AdSense as a form of monetization. Although it's possible to earn a full income just by using Google AdSense, it's generally best to use Google AdSense alongside other forms of website monetization. AdSense is a great way to earn extra income on a web property that you've already established. Once Google AdSense has been implemented on your website, there is very little maintenance needed and therefore acts as great supplemental income. For example, maybe you have a website that sells dog food. Although you're hopefully making money off dog food sales, there's still an opportunity to set up Google AdSense and earn a little extra income with very little additional work. At the same time, maybe you have a blog about comic books that you're currently working on as a hobby. Hobbies are great, but hobbies that also generate income are even better. Why not implement Google AdSense on your comic book blog so that you can earn some income from what you like doing best? Because Google AdSense requires so little maintenance, it's almost always worth trying for anybody who has a website. It's also important to understand that you can remove Google AdSense from your website at any time without incurring a penalty. There is no contract for Google AdSense. Everything is based on how many impressions advertisers receive on your website and how much they're paying for those impressions. This is important because it means that you can be running Google AdSense on your website, and if something more profitable comes along, you can simply remove Google AdSense and replace it with the more profitable solution. Most people's first question regarding Google AdSense is, how much money will I earn? Although this is a very valid question, it's quite difficult to answer because there are a lot of variables that come into play regarding earnings from Google AdSense. The two primary variables that determine how much you earn on Google AdSense are the number of impressions you receive and the quality and topic of your content. If your earnings from Google AdSense were simply based on number of impressions and nothing else, it would be easy to gauge how much money you could expect to make. We could say that for every 1,000 impressions you receive, you earn $10, and since your site receives 20,000 impressions, not views, remember, per month, you'll make $200 per month. The question then becomes, why don't all publishers receive the same amount of revenue per 1,000 impressions? The answer is because different advertisers are willing to pay different amounts depending on the topic and quality of the content on a website. For example, one ad network might include two different advertisers. One advertiser may be an insurance company looking to promote an insurance policy via an advertisement on a website, and the other advertiser might be a toothbrush company looking to promote a toothbrush. These two advertisers probably have very different business models, profit margins, and, in turn, advertising budgets and strategies. If the insurance company sells one insurance policy, they're probably making a pretty big profit and therefore can afford to pay more for an advertisement. Let's say that the insurance company is willing to pay $10 per 1,000 impressions. The toothbrush company is probably making a much lower profit margin and therefore cannot afford to bid as high for internet advertisements. For this example, we'll say that the toothbrush company is willing to pay $1 per 1,000 impressions. Now, here is where the publishers come into play. With our two advertisers in mind, let's say that we also have two different publishers. One publisher has a blog on legal advice, and the other publisher has a website on dental health. Both publishers are using Google AdSense. Because advertisers only want to be displayed on websites that are relevant to their target market, the insurance company's ad will probably bid for the spot on the legal advice blog, and the toothbrush company's ad will probably bid for the spot on the dental health blog. Both advertisers will probably be bidding against other advertisers in the same industry with similar bid prices. Let's say that for both our insurance company and our toothbrush company, that they are the highest bidders for the entire month for their respective websites. Also, let's say that both websites receive the same amount of impressions for the particular month, 20,000. Although the impressions are the same, the legal advice blog will earn $200 from the 20,000 impressions because the insurance company is paying $10 per 1,000 impressions. At the same time, the dental advice blog will only earn $20 from 20,000 impressions because their highest bidder is only willing to pay $1 for 1,000 impressions. From this example, you can see that although both websites received the same number of impressions, because of the difference in topics, one site is earning 10 times as much as the other site. So what does this mean for you as a publisher when it comes to calculating your monthly earnings? It means that you'll have to try out AdSense for at least a couple of months to get a better feel of how much money you'll be making on a monthly basis. The best metric to use when calculating this is your revenue per 1,000 impressions. If you don't currently have a website and your goal of watching this video series is to find a way to make a fortune off Google AdSense, then your best bet is probably to research which industries are willing to pay the most for internet advertising impressions. I'll give you a hint. The legal industry, including insurance companies, spends a lot of money on online advertising. Another high-paying industry is that of luxury products because they also have a very high profit margin. Once you have an understanding of how much money you'll make per 1,000 impressions based on the topic of your blog or website, you can then work on generating as many monthly impressions as possible to drive up your earnings. At this point, you should probably be starting to see some of the limitations of using Google AdSense. Again, you can make a full-time income off Google AdSense, but it's not likely and takes a lot of work and effort to receive enough impressions to do so. That being said, Google AdSense is best used as a supplemental form of revenue for your website and not necessarily the primary form of revenue. Also, remember that while publishers are letting Google AdSense automatically place advertisements on their websites, advertisers are also letting Google AdSense automatically place their ads on websites without a full, thorough review. Because of this, advertisers are probably not willing to pay quite as much as if they had hand-picked and approved specific websites that they know will attract their target audience. This means that there may come a time where an advertiser will approach you, as a publisher, and be willing to pay more for your advertisement spots that are currently being populated with ads from Google AdSense. If this time comes, it's probably best to accept that advertiser's offer and forego using Google AdSense in those spots, at least for the duration of the advertiser's ad campaign. In fact, just having Google AdSense on your website may attract direct offers from advertisers because they can see that ad spots are available on your site and that you're willing to sell them. Also, remember that as Google acts as the middleman, they're also taking a cut of your earnings, and as a publisher, you may be able to make a little more money by selling direct ads. Lastly, with Google AdSense, ads are automatically populated on your website, so you do have a limited ability to approve ads before they're being displayed on your website. So if you're worried about the content of the ads on your website, AdSense might not be the best solution for you. Google AdSense is a great tool and can provide a great deal of supplemental income for your web property, but don't forget to address other opportunities and forms of monetization that may arise while you're using Google AdSense. In this video, we're going to take a look at the Google AdSense homepage and go over some of the primary features and benefits. If you visit google.com/AdSense/start, you'll be taken to the Google AdSense homepage. From here, we can use the blue navigation bar at the top of the page to explore how Google AdSense works. If you click on the Why AdSense link in the blue navigation bar, you'll be taken to a page that explains why AdSense may be a good fit for you. On this page, we can see that Google AdSense connects our website and our content with lots of advertisers, which means more advertiser competition and more revenue. As I mentioned earlier in the course, Google AdSense features advanced ad targeting algorithms that result in ads relevant to your site and the users of your site. From within the Google AdSense platform, we also have access to detailed analytics and reports that will help us optimize our website to earn more revenue moving forward. The ads displayed by Google AdSense go through a specific review process. That means only high-quality ads will appear on your site, also helping to increase user engagement, click-through rate, and revenue. There are also a number of controls built into the Google AdSense platform so that you can specify which categories and types of ads that you would like to be displayed on your site, and which ones you'd like to block. For text-based ads, you can control the look, feel, and style of the ads displayed on your site. For those of you that are constantly on the move, Google AdSense also features an interface that is optimized for mobile devices so that you can keep track of your website's performance on your smartphone or tablet. By clicking on the Products link in the blue navigation menu, you'll learn that Google AdSense can be used as an advertising solution not just for standard websites, but also for search, video, mobile users, and video games. Most people start out by using Google AdSense for content, and that's primarily what we'll be covering in this course. But as your website and business grows, it's great to know that Google AdSense can grow with you. If we click on the blue How It Works link in the navigation bar, Google provides us with an overview of how Google AdSense works. We make ad spaces available on our website, Google AdSense automatically fills those spaces with ads, and then we get paid when users view or click on those ads. Throughout this course, we're going to cover all of the smaller steps in between so that you can get set up properly with Google AdSense and begin to earn revenue. If you become a Google AdSense guru after watching this course and decide that you'd like to start managing Google AdSense accounts for other organizations, you can apply to become a Google AdSense certified partner by clicking on the Partners link in the navigation menu. In addition to this course, Google also has a few resources available for you if you run into problems when using Google AdSense. You can click on the Resources link in the navigation menu to access the AdSense Academy, a short checklist that Google has put together to make sure that you've covered all of the bases in setting up your AdSense account. This page also contains some additional help links, including a link to the AdSense Help Center. Some of the pages in here can be a bit outdated, but if you run into a specific problem when using Google AdSense, taking a look here is definitely worth a shot. Lastly, the Success Stories link in the blue navigation bar leads to a page with some video testimonials from publishers that have had success using Google AdSense. You can take a look at these on your own time and maybe get some ideas on how AdSense can be successful for your own situation. In order to use Google AdSense, you need to first have a Google account, and then you can connect the Google AdSense service to your Google account. In the next video, I'm going to go over the process of creating a general Google account, and then, in the following video, I'll show you how to connect the Google AdSense service to your already created Google account. As I mentioned in the last video, in order to use Google AdSense, you need to have a Google account. To create a Google account, you can navigate to google.com, and from the Google search page, go ahead and click on the blue Sign In button at the top right of your screen. I know it seems a little funny we're clicking on the Sign In button when we don't yet have an account, but from this Google Sign In page, we can click on the blue link at the bottom that says Create an Account. After clicking on that link, it will take us to the Google Account Creation screen. On this page, we need to provide Google with some information to be associated with our account. Go ahead and enter your first and last name here. I'm going to use a fictitious lynda.com brand because I already have a Google account. We also have the option of creating a Gmail email address with our account or using a current email address to be associated with the Google account. What you decide to do here is up to you, but I will say that to get the most out of Google's services, it's probably best to create a Gmail account with your Google account to make sure that all of the services run seamlessly and smoothly. You don't actually have to use the Gmail account much, but it will be there if you ever need it. So go ahead and create a Gmail username to be associated with your email account. And then in the box below, we also have to create a password for our Google account. Notice that when we click in the password box, Google tells us that the password must be at least 8 characters long. As we enter the password, Google will let us know in the message box to the left whether or not the password is secure enough. Once you've entered an acceptable password, re-enter it in the second box to verify it with Google. We need to provide our birthday to Google as well in order to verify that we're old enough to use Google's services. Google is also interested in our gender. Not sure exactly why, but you can put whatever is suitable for you in this field. If you ever forget your Google password, Google can send you a text message to recover and reset your Google account password, so make sure you enter a valid phone number in the designated field. We also need to provide Google with a current working email address so that our account can be verified in case we have any important notifications that need to be sent to us. To prove that we're not a robot, we need to enter the verification code exactly as we see it on our screen in the designated field. Google also wants to know where in the world we're located, so go ahead and choose the best option for you in the drop-down menu. Lastly, in order to create a Google account, we need to agree to Google's terms of service and privacy policy. If you click on the links provided by Google, the Terms of Service and Privacy Policy will open up in a new tab. Once you're ready, go ahead and go back to the Google account creation screen and click on the checkbox to say that you agree to the Terms of Service and Privacy Policy. And then you can go ahead and click on the blue Next Step button. On the screen that appears, Google will let us know that our Google account has been created, but we have the option of adding a photo to our Google account if we'd like. So if you'd like to do that, you can click on the blue Add a Photo link and then follow the on-screen instructions Or you can just click on the blue Next Step button, which is what I'll do for this example. On the page that follows, Google says, "Welcome, Jason. Your new email address has been created, and you're ready to start using your Google account." In the next video, I'm going to show you how you can connect your Google account to the Google AdSense service. The Google account also comes with a lot of different services and features that at some point you might want to use. So it may be worth exploring all of the different services and features that are now available to you since you've created a Google account. By now, you should already have a Google account created so that we can connect the Google AdSense service to our already created Google account. To connect your AdSense account, navigate to google.com/AdSense. From here, you'll be prompted to log into your Google account. So go ahead and enter the email address associated with your Google account. You can see that mine's already entered here, and then your password to log in. Go ahead and click the blue Sign In button to log into your Google account. Once logging in, we'll be taken to the Google AdSense homepage. We've already gone over most of the content on this page earlier in the series, so to get started with AdSense, go ahead and click the Get Started Now button in the middle left of the page. On the page that appears, Google tells us that a few things are required to start using Google AdSense. First of all, we need to be at least 18 years old to have a Google account. We also need a website that we can display advertisements on, and then a postal address so that Google can mail us payments and tax information, probably the most important part. Well, the payments, that is. Once you're ready, go ahead and click on the blue button on the bottom left of your screen that says Yes, Use, and then it'll list whatever account you're currently logged in with. On the following page, we need to provide a little more information to Google in order to get Google AdSense configured. First of all, we need to let Google know which website we'll be displaying ads on. Go ahead and enter the primary domain where you're going to be using Google AdSense. If you're going to be using AdSense on multiple websites, don't worry, you can add additional websites later on in the Google AdSense platform. We also need to let Google know what the primary language of our website is. This is really important because we want Google AdSense to display advertisements in the same language that our primary users are speaking. In this case, we're going to choose English. Lastly, make sure that you read through the Google AdSense terms and conditions and program policies. These are really important because if you violate one of the policies at some point, your Google AdSense account will be shut down and you'll not be paid for revenue that you've already earned during that period. As you can see, you're not allowed to click on your own ads. This is considered fraud, and your Google AdSense account will be shut down very quickly. You cannot use Google AdSense on websites that contain adult content. You can't use Google AdSense on websites that contain copyrighted material. The websites displaying Google AdSense should contain original content that you own or at least have permission to publish. You also need to verify that you don't already have a Google AdSense account. This is really for your benefit because if you already have a Google AdSense account set up, then you can use that account instead of creating a new one. Lastly, you can't put incentives on your website for users to click on your ads. For example, you can't say, click on 3 of my ads and receive a free ebook. This is also fraud, and it makes it pointless for the advertisers to pay for an ad that's clicked on only because you gave the user an incentive to click on it. So once you take a look at those terms and conditions and you're ready to move forward, go ahead and click on the blue Continue button at the bottom of your screen. In step 3 of the AdSense application process, we have to specify some contact information so that Google knows how to get a hold of us. The first thing that we need to enter is the current country that we're going to be working in. So for this example, we can choose the United States. We also need to choose the time zone that we're currently in. I'm in the Pacific time zone. We also need to specify whether this is an account for an individual or a business. The main difference here is that if you specify an individual, checks will be made out to an individual. If you specify that it's a business account, the checks will be made to the business. So go ahead and choose the one that's most applicable for your situation. For this example, I'm going to put in, as an individual, Jason Hemlock. Down below, we also need to enter our street address, the city that you're currently in, or that you want to receive your payments to, the state, and then, of course, your zip code. We also need to provide a phone number so that Google can contact us if necessary. And then Google also wants to know how we actually heard about AdSense, probably for their own internal marketing purposes, so you can choose whatever option is best suitable for your situation. I'll choose friend or colleague. And then Google also gives us the option of specifying our email preferences at the bottom of the application. By default, Google's going to send you customized help and performance suggestions. And if you're just starting out with Google AdSense, it's probably a good idea to leave all of these emails enabled because there are a lot of really good suggestions that will help you optimize your Google AdSense account. At any point during the future, you can opt out of some of these emails. So choose whichever option is most suitable for you, and then when you're ready, go ahead and click the blue Submit My Application button at the bottom of your screen. Once your application has been submitted, Google lets you know that it's been properly submitted and it's now being reviewed. Once it's been approved, you'll receive a message at the email address that you associated with your application regarding the status of your account. Once your application has been accepted, you're going to have to place some code inside of your website to prove that you're the actual owner of the website. And we'll show you how to do that later on in the course. Once your Google AdSense application has been submitted and approved, one of the first things that you want to do is specify your payment information in Google AdSense so that Google can send you a direct deposit payment every month. To do so, navigate to google.com/AdSense and log into your Google AdSense account. From the Google AdSense dashboard, you can navigate to the right side of your screen and click on the gear icon. From here, you'll notice there's a section called Payments, and if you click on it, you can add a bank account to your Google AdSense account. Now, there is a threshold that you must meet in order to receive a payment from Google, and that's $100. So as soon as your Google AdSense account has a balance of $100 or more, you'll receive a direct deposit payment from Google the following month. It's usually towards the last third of the month. So let's say you make $110 in February, you should receive that payment via direct deposit around March 20th or so. Now, if at any time in the future you need to update your payment information or add a bank account, you can do so by navigating back to the Payments section of Google AdSense, which we also cover later on in this video course. Now that we've finished setting up our Google AdSense account, it's time to take a look at the primary navigation and learn where everything's located inside of Google AdSense. When you first log into your account, you will be on the AdSense homepage. This page serves as a dashboard for publishers to gain a quick overview of their AdSense performance. We can tell we're on the homepage because the home link at the top of our screen is highlighted in blue. At the top of the Google AdSense homepage, financial metrics for both the current day and current month are displayed. Since we just created this account, we don't actually have any numbers to be displayed in here yet. As you collect data in your AdSense account, additional information will also appear on this page that will help you gauge the performance of your AdSense advertisements. The primary navigation in Google AdSense is located at the top of the page. Again, right now we're on the home page. The next link available to us is the My Ads link. This is the area where we can create, modify, and delete ads and ad placement locations for our website. We'll talk about this section in depth later on in the course. The Allow and Block Ads link allows us to specify which category of ads we would like to be displayed on our website and which ad networks we would like to allow. We can even block specific ads from appearing on our site using this area of Google AdSense. We'll also be going in depth regarding this section of AdSense later on in the course as well. The Performance Reports section allows us to view all of the statistics related to our Google AdSense account and helps publishers gauge future earnings, trends, and effective AdSense strategies. Again, we're going to talk about the Performance Report section later on in the course. You'll notice that in the top right corner of the Google AdSense screen, we have another set of smaller links with which we can navigate within Google AdSense. If you click directly on your own email address in the top right corner, you can access information related to your Google account, including your Google AdSense Publisher ID. The gear link in the top corner of the screen allows users to access their Google AdSense settings and review payment information. The bell icon is where Google AdSense notifications will appear, such as receiving a new message from the Google AdSense team. And the question mark in the very top right of your screen links to an area where publishers can search for help articles regarding Google AdSense. The links that we just went over comprise the primary navigation within Google AdSense. Once you're comfortable finding your way around, check out the next chapter in the course where we will configure our first Google AdSense ad. As we learned earlier in the course, Google AdSense decides which actual advertisements will appear on our website. That being said, we still need to decide how many ads we will display, where they will be displayed, and what size the advertisements will be. To do this, we need to create what are called ad units. We will then place the ad units on our site, and Google will automatically place the actual advertisements inside of those ad units based on the bids submitted by advertisers. Publishers can create an individual ad unit for a specific page on their site, reusable ad units that will be displayed on multiple web pages, or a mix of both. To make things easier to manage, it's probably best to create reusable ad units that can fit either within the header, body, or sidebar of your site so that ads will automatically show up without having to create another ad unit every time you publish a new article or blog post. Placing the ad units within your website will take some web design knowledge. If you have a web designer or developer, you may need to get them involved in the process of placing ad units within the code of your website. We will, however, create a basic example of this process later on in this chapter of the video course. Get ready for the next video where we actually create our first ad unit. Now that we've configured our first ad unit in Google AdSense, we need to actually place that ad unit on our website. When we saved the ad unit in the last video, Google provides us with this pop-up window for the code that we need to paste into our website. Notice that it asks what code type you want to use. If you choose the asynchronous option, it basically guarantees that loading advertisements on your website with this specific ad unit will never get in the way of loading the actual content on your website. So make sure that you choose the asynchronous code type. And if you're looking for more information, you can hover over the question mark and click on the blue Learn More link at the bottom. For now, let's go ahead and copy all of the code that's in this box. If we click once, it will automatically select all of the code, and then we can copy it to our clipboard by right-clicking and clicking Copy. Now, this part of the course may be a little different than what it looks like for you because we actually need to go into our website and paste this code into our website. We're going to be using WordPress for this example, but you might be using a different system. Although things might look a little bit different, the overall idea is the same. So what we're going to do is I'm going to move to another tab that I have open in my browser, and it's actually the website where we're going to be placing this ad unit. We want this ad unit to go up here at the very top, above our header. So one little trick that I like to use so I know exactly where to put an advertisement or an ad unit on my site is if you use Google Chrome, you can right-click and choose this option that's called Inspect Element. And it allows you to inspect all of the different web elements of your website. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the magnifying glass down here on the left side of my screen. And I'm going to select this part of my website, the header, because I know that my ad unit needs to go right above the header. So if I click on this part of my website, down here in the bottom, it shows me the code of my website, and it shows me specifically the area that I've selected. So when I go into the back end of my website and look at all of the code where I can edit it, I'm going to look for this area and I'm going to place this ad unit just above it. Notice, by the way, that I'm looking for the header with the ID branding. So now I'm going to move to the next tab that I have open, which is actually my WordPress dashboard where I can edit the code for my website. So in WordPress, from the dashboard, I'm going to navigate to the Appearance section and I'm going to click on Editor. This is going to bring up all the code for your website. You need to be really, really careful when you're editing code in this part of your website, because if you mess something up, it could really break your website and it could be a real hassle to get things back to normal. So be very, very careful when you're in this part of your website. To get to the header section where I want the ad unit to be placed, I'm going to scroll down over here on the right side of my screen and find the page that's called header.php. When I click on that, it's going to bring up all of the code for the header on my website. Now, I actually forget which part I'm looking for. So if I go back to the last tab, I can see, oh yeah, the ID I'm looking for is called branding. So I'm going to go back to my code. And another little trick I like to use is on a Mac computer, if you press Command F, and on a Windows computer, if you press Control F, this little search box appears, and you can search for something on a web page. And in this example, I want to search for branding because that's the piece of code that I want my ad unit to be placed just above. So now you'll notice in the code, I've found this header section, and I want to place the ad unit just above it. So I'm going to click just above the header, and then I'm going to right-click and paste the code that I copied from Google AdSense into this area. You'll notice that it goes right in there. And now if I scroll to the bottom of my page and I click the blue Update File button, I'm going to let WordPress update my website, and we're going to go back to the public-facing side of my website. We can close out of the inspector, and when I refresh the page, we should see a leaderboard advertisement at the top. Hey, look at that. There it is. It's that simple. We created our first ad unit, pasted the code that Google provided us into our website, and we already have advertisements displaying on our website. I'd like to touch upon the top performing ad units according to Google to help maximize the performance of advertisements on your website. According to Google, the wider ad units almost always outperform their narrow counterparts. By outperforming, I mean users are more likely to see, read, and then click on ads that are wider in size rather than taller. Therefore, the following ad units perform best according to Google. First, we have the 336 by 280 large rectangle, which, as you can see, is slightly wider than it is tall and provides advertisers with a lot of room to deliver their messages to website users. The next ad unit recommended by Google is the 300 by 250 medium rectangle. This ad unit is similar to the large rectangle, but slightly smaller. The third ad unit recommended by Google is the 728 by 90 leaderboard, which works great at the top or bottom of a web page. Keep in mind that users are more likely to see and click on ads that are at the top of a page than those that are at the bottom of a page. The final ad unit recommended by Google is the 160 by 600 wide skyscraper. Although this ad is taller than it is wide, it is wider than the standard skyscraper, which is only 120 by 600 pixels. Keep in mind, this information is also available to advertisers, so they're probably willing to bid higher prices for ads being displayed in these ad units rather than ads being displayed in other sized ad units. Remember, it's your website, and the size of the ads that you decide to display is completely up to you. But if you're looking to maximize your earnings, your best bet is to use a mix of these ad sizes recommended by Google. Custom channels in Google AdSense provide a way to track the performance of groups of ad units on your website. As we'll see later on in the course, the performance of each individual ad unit can be tracked in the Performance Reports section of AdSense. What if, however, you want to track the combined performance of a specific group of ad units on your website? Let's say, for example, you have a banner at the top of your web page and a banner at the bottom of your web page, and instead of tracking the performance of these two banners separately, you want to see the combined performance of both of them. We can do that by using custom channels. From the home page of Google AdSense, to start creating a custom channel, we actually have to navigate to the My Ads section in the top navigation bar on our screen. From the My Ads section, we need to make sure that we are in the Custom Channels section from the left sidebar on your screen. So once you're in the Custom Channels section of your Google AdSense account, you can click on the button at the top to create a new custom channel. In the box that appears, we can enter all of the information needed to create our custom channel. The first thing that we want to enter is a descriptive title for our custom channel. This custom channel is going to be for ads specifically on our Kinetico website, so we're just going to call this custom channel Kinetico. Now, from the list of ad units that appear on our screen, we need to choose the specific ad units that we want to track with this custom channel. For this example, we're going to track the first two ad units that we see listed, the banner bottom and banner top. So I'm going to go ahead and click Add to add them to this custom channel. You can see once I add them, they're listed over here on the right side of our screen. The next step in creating our custom channel is that we can choose whether or not we want this custom channel to be available for targeting. In other words, you can make this custom channel visible to advertisers when they're setting up their AdWords campaign, which is the system that advertisers use to bid on ads in Google AdSense. And when you do that, they can specifically bid for a spot within the particular channel. So if you're trying to maximize your revenue from using Google AdSense, it's a good idea to click this checkbox. It gives advertisers more options to put advertisements on your website. So we're going to go ahead and click the targeting checkbox. In the fields that appear, we want to add a little bit of information so that when advertisers take a look at this custom channel, they have an idea of the spots on your website that are included in this custom channel. So for the ads appear on box, we can go ahead and we can type homepage because both of these ads appear on our homepage. When it asks about the location of the ad, we can go ahead and click on the drop-down to choose the option that best fits this custom channel. Because we have a banner at the top of our website and a banner at the bottom of our website, there isn't one specific ad location that works best, so we're going to go ahead and choose multiple locations. But for you, you might be able to choose another option from the list here. And then in the description field, we can add any additional information that we want advertisers to see when they're viewing this custom channel in their Google AdWords account. So we can go ahead, and for this example, we'll type both the top and bottom banners appearing on the Kinetico website. We need to make sure that we choose the proper language for our website. And then when you're ready, go ahead and click the Save button. You'll notice once you save the custom channel, it now appears in your list as an active custom channel. And as we'll see later on in the video course, we could go to the Performance Reports section of Google AdSense, and we could view the statistics for just these 2 banner ads combined by looking at the Kinetico custom channel. In Google AdSense, URL channels allow you to track the ad performance of a specific page or post on your website. This is really important in understanding what type of content on your website is most profitable with Google AdSense. Believe it or not, there may be some posts on your website that earn more AdSense revenue than other posts that even might have more page views. As we talked about it earlier in the course, the amount of money advertisers are willing to pay for their ads to display on a particular post depends heavily on the topic of the post and the keywords within the post. To configure URL channels in Google AdSense, we first need to navigate to the My Ads section of Google AdSense. From the My Ads section, we need to click on the URL channels link in the left side of our screen. Once we're in the URL channels, just like when we created a custom channel, we can click the button at the top left of our screen to add a new URL channel, which I'm going to do in a second, but first I want to show you the URL that I'm going to track. So I have another tab open here in my browser, and it's actually an article on our Kinetico website. And it's a new article that was recently posted, and we want to track the performance of this specific article. So in order to track the performance of this article, we need to go up to our browser and copy the URL of the page. So I'm just going to select the whole URL, right-click, and hit copy. Now when I go back to Google AdSense, and we're still in the URL channels section, we can click on the new URL channel button. And in the page that pops up, we have the option to enter all the URLs that we want to track. Notice that you enter each URL 1 per line. So for this example, I'm just going to paste in the URL that I just copied. Now, if you had 10 URLs that you wanted to track, you could add them all in here at the same time. At the time of this video, Google does only allow up to 500 URLs to be tracked using the URL channels feature. For new websites, that shouldn't be a problem. Whenever you publish a new post on your site, you can simply go into AdSense and add the new post's URL. For websites that already have more than 500 pages and posts, you might have to try and pick a variety of the different posts to put here into Google AdSense to track the performance. If you already have an established website with multiple posts and pages, the easiest way to get them in Google AdSense at the same time is to access your website's sitemap. You may have to ask your webmaster or web developer for this, but if you access your website's sitemap, it should list all of the URLs on your website, and from there, you can copy all of them to your clipboard, just like I copied this one URL here, and then paste them here in the URL channels section of Google AdSense. Once you have all of the URLs pasted in the box that you want to track, go ahead and click the Add URL Channels button at the bottom. When the page refreshes, you'll see all of the URLs that you've added listed here in the URL Channels section, and just like with custom channels, we could then move to the Performance Reports section of Google AdSense, and we could view the performance for these specific URLs that are listed on this page. And again, we're going to take a look at that later on in the course. Experiments in Google AdSense allow users to perform A/B testing on different styles of advertisements to evaluate the effect that a particular ad style has on revenue and performance. Because the only type of ad that we actually have control over in regards to the style in Google AdSense are text-based ads, AdSense Experiments only works for these type of advertisements. To get to the Experiments section of Google AdSense, we first need to click on the My Ads link at the top of our screen. And then from the My Ads section, we need to click on Experiments. In the Experiments section of Google AdSense, you'll notice that there is a big red button towards the top left corner that says Create an Experiment. So let's jump right in and take a look. I'm just going to click on the Create an Experiment button. Now remember, we're doing A/B testing here. So we want to give our experiment a title that is descriptive of what we're testing. So in this example, we're going to be testing the main banner unit on the top of our website. So I'm just going to title this experiment Main Banner Experiment. Now you'll notice that there's a field for goal, but the goal is always the same when we're doing experiments in Google AdSense, and that's to increase our revenue. So we don't need to change anything there. We can also add any specific notes to this experiment that we'd like for our own internal purposes. So we can just type something in here like we're doing an experiment on text ads in the main banner unit of our website. Now, in order for experiments to work, you first need to have already created an ad unit that's going to be your base ad unit. That's the one that we're going to create a variation of to test the difference in style. So down here in the original ad unit area, we can choose the ad unit that we want to start with. So in this example, we're going to choose the top banner. Now you'll notice, once we choose our ad unit to start with, it shows us an example of what that ad unit style is. So we can see the color of the text, the color of the URL, and the background color that we configured for this ad unit. Down here at the bottom in the variation section is where we can make changes to this ad unit so that when users go to our website, they're either going to see the original ad unit that we created initially, or they're going to see our variation. And Google's going to try and split this 50-50. So when we get our results back, we can see, hey, did people tend to click on the original version a lot more than the variation that we created, or did they click on the variation more, or was it the same? Did it not really matter? So down here in the variation section, we want to make some changes to the style of our ad unit. So let's say for this example, this one's a pretty low contrast. It's got a white background. Let's go ahead and choose the high contrast black ad. So you can see over here on the right, we have a sample of what this ad's going to look like. And we can see there's quite a bit of difference between these two ad styles. So this would probably be a good A/B test or experiment to run here in Google AdSense. So we can scroll down to the bottom, and you'll notice that we have this option that's called traffic split. This option will allow Google to optimize the experiment's traffic split. So like I talked about earlier, we want that traffic to split 50-50. We want half of our users to see the original ad and half of our users to see the variation. So you definitely want to check this checkbox to make sure that that split is going through correctly. Once you're ready and you have all your settings configured how you'd like, you can go ahead and click on the blue Start Experiment button at the bottom. You'll notice that when you do that, your experiment is listed here in the Experiment section of Google AdSense, and it's currently running and collecting data. If we want to click to see the results of our experiment, we can click on the little black bar icon to the right of the experiment. When we do that, it takes us to the Performance Reports section of Google AdSense, and if we had any data, we'd be able to see it in here. But since we just created this experiment, we don't have any data yet. Google allows website owners to create a custom search engine page for their website that utilizes Google's search technology, but only shows results from posts and pages on your particular website. If you decide to configure Google's custom search engine, you can use Google AdSense to display advertisements on your website's custom search engine results page. To get started, we need to navigate to the My Ads section of Google AdSense. And then from the My Ads section, we're going to click on the search link on the left side of our screen. From the search page, you'll notice that, like in other areas of Google AdSense, there's a button at the top left that allows us to create a new custom search engine. Let's go ahead and click on that button. In the page that appears, we can configure all of the settings related to our custom search engine. First, we want to give our custom search engine a descriptive name. Generally, each website will only have one custom search engine configured, so you can probably name this something like Kinetico Search Engine, but obviously related to your specific website. In the What to Search field, we can specify whether we want this search engine to show results from the entire internet or only the sites that you select. Because we're creating this custom search engine specifically for our website, we're going to choose Only Sites I Select. When we choose that option, a box appears where we can specify the list of websites that we want Google to search in this custom search engine. You can enter each website with one URL per line. So for this example, we're going to enter blog.kinetico.net. In the Keywords section, we can specify some keywords about our website so that when people search our custom search engine, the ads that are displayed are ads that are relevant to our website, relevant to our users, and hopefully will generate more revenue for us. For this example, I'm going to enter energy and green energy. We can also choose whether we want to use the safe search option, which makes sure that there aren't any adult-related results that come up in our custom search engine. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to leave that enabled for this example. In the next section, we need to specify which country our website is located in, which language our website is written in, and the encoding that's used for our website. Now, generally speaking, most websites are written in Unicode, UTF-8, which is the first option here in the list. So if you aren't sure what encoding your website uses, you're probably safe selecting Unicode, but you might want to touch base with your web developer just to make sure. In the transliteration section, we can allow users to phonetically type a search query in English and have the results show up in another language, most likely their native language. Because this option will increase usability for your non-English speaking users, I recommend that you enable transliteration for all possible languages. You can do this just by clicking all of the checkboxes, which we'll do real quick here. The popular queries option is one of my favorite features of Google Custom Search, and it definitely increases the user experience on your website. If you enable this feature, as users type search queries into your custom search engine, a drop-down of popular queries that other users are searching will appear. It works similarly to Google's global search engine, which you can explore by going to google.com and starting to type a search query. If you want to track the performance of ads specifically being displayed on your custom search engine results page, it's a good idea to create a custom channel specifically for this custom search engine. If you haven't watched the chapter on custom channels, it may be a good idea just to give you an idea of what custom channels are. But if you want to use custom channels for your search engine, you actually have to create them from this area within Google AdSense. So we could click on the blue plus icon next to custom channels. And if we've already created a custom channel for search engines, they'd be listed here. But since we haven't, we could click on the Create New Custom Channel button, and then we could name our custom channel Search Engine, and then go ahead and save it. Later on, we could review this custom channel in the Performance Reports section of Google AdSense to see how the ads are performing on our search engine results page. In the Search Box Style section, I'm going to go ahead and click on it to open it up. We can specify the look and feel of the custom search box on our website. The first option is most efficient in terms of how much space the search box will take up on your website, but if you prefer to have the Google Custom Search logo either next to or underneath your search box, you can choose one of the other options as well. For now, we'll leave it as the first one. Notice that we also have the option of specifying the maximum number of characters that users are able to type into our Google Custom Search engine. The default value is 55, and it's probably a good idea to stick with that number until you've experimented with your own custom search engine and decide that you want to allow more or less characters in your custom search engine search box. If we click on the Ad Style section, you'll notice that in the same way we configured the text ad style for our ad units earlier on in the course, we can also specify the style of text ads that are displayed on our search engine results page. You have the option of using the default styles, or again, you could click on the Use Custom Settings button to create your own style. You can change the colors of the title and border and all of those different options. For now, we're just going to use the Google default style. In the last section, we need to specify where custom search results will appear when people search using our custom search engine. So I'm going to click the plus symbol to open this section up. And you'll notice that we have a few different options here. We can have our search results displayed in the same window that they're currently on. We can have them open up and be displayed in a new window, or we can display the search results on our website using an iframe. Now, I would definitely recommend staying away from having the results show up in the same window, because when people use your custom search engine, even though it's displaying results from your web page, it will actually take them away from your website into a Google page. It'll only be your websites that are on that page, along with the advertisements, but again, it's moving people away from your domain, so it's a good idea to at least use the option that says on a Google page in a new window. That way their search results will open up in a new tab in their browser, and your website will still be open in the previous tab. Advanced users may also choose the On My Website using an iframe option, which will ensure that users aren't navigating away from your website, but it also requires additional configuration. It's important to know that iframes can slow down the performance of your site and create issues with search engine optimization. So using iframes on a website is a practice you may want to stay away from. Lastly, because we're creating a custom search engine for our website, it's a good idea to have your organization's logo displayed on the search engine results page for both brand recognition and to ensure that users know they're performing a search on your website. If you already have a logo uploaded to your web server, simply copy and paste the URL of your logo into the logo image URL box. Once you paste in the location of your image, again in the logo image URL box, you can then choose where you actually want users to go when they click on your logo. Generally, it's a good idea to have them go to your homepage. We can choose whether we want our logo to be displayed above our search box or below our search box, so that is completely up to you. Once you're ready and you've specified all the information on this page for your custom search engine, you can go ahead and click on the white Save and Get Code button at the bottom left of your screen. When you do that, a box appears with a bunch of code in the middle of it that you can copy to your clipboard by selecting all of it, right-clicking, and choosing Copy, and then you can go to the back end of your website, like we did when we added our ad unit to our website, and paste this in the exact location where you want your custom search box to appear. Once you've got that set up, users can go ahead and search on your website, and when they see your search results, they'll be going to more articles on your website, and you'll also be making some money because they're going to be seeing some of your AdSense advertisements in the search engine results page. When we created our first ad unit earlier on in the course, we had the option to use one of Google's default styles for text ads, or we could create a custom style that's more suited for the theme of our website. If you decided to use a custom style, it may be a good idea to save that custom style and make it available to use for other ad units later on, instead of having to recreate it each time you create a new ad unit for your website. We can do this in the Add Styles section of Google AdSense. To access this section, go ahead and click on the My Ads link at the top of your Google AdSense homepage. And then, in the left sidebar of your screen, go ahead and click on Add Styles. On the page that appears, there are a few default ad styles created by Google listed for you to modify to your liking. So you'll notice that if you mouse over these ad styles, you could click on Copy and Edit, and it would actually copy the ad style exactly as you see it, so you could just change a few things about it if there's certain things that you already like about the styles that Google's created. If you click on the New Ad Style box towards the bottom left of your screen, a pop-up window will appear allowing you to completely customize your ad style. Since we're creating an ad style that we'd like to be able to reuse throughout our website, it's a good idea to make sure that the 3 check boxes at the top are checkmarked. This will make it so that the ad style we're configuring will be available for normal ad units, link units, and even custom search engine results pages. Make sure that you also give your custom ad style a descriptive name so it will be easily identifiable to you later on when you're creating ad units. I'm going to create an ad style with a light blue background, so I'm just going to call this light blue. Now I can specify all of the different colors and styles that I'd like to use for these text ads. So like I said, I'm going to make the background a light blue color. Notice as I choose different options, in the top right of this box, I have a preview of what this ad style is going to look like. So I could also go ahead and I could change the ad text to a purple color, and we could change the URL to maybe a little bit of a darker green, and maybe even a couple more darker. That one's good. Notice on the right side of the screen, you can also change the corner style, so you could make rounded edges on your text ad. You could change the font that's being used in terms of the font family and even the font size. Once you're ready, go ahead and click the Save Ad Style button at the bottom of your pop-up window, and you'll notice that you now have your newly created style listed in the bottom section of the Ad Styles page here in Google AdSense. And when you go to create a new ad unit or a new custom search engine, this ad style will be available for you to use instead of having to recreate it each and every time. In addition to using Google AdSense to monetize your website or blog, you can also use Google AdSense to monetize video games that you've developed or video that you're displaying on your website. Because this is an advanced feature of Google AdSense, it won't be covered in full detail in the Up and Running course of Google AdSense, but it's important to note where you can access and apply to use these features. To apply for AdSense for games and video, navigate to the My Ads section of your Google AdSense homepage. And then in the left side of your screen, go ahead and click on Other Products. On the page that appears, you have the option to apply for AdSense for games and AdSense for video. If you plan on uploading videos to your website and monetizing them with advertisements, one of your best options is probably to upload those videos to YouTube, which, by the way, is also owned by Google, and monetize those videos using the YouTube platform. This method of monetizing your videos will generally take the least amount of configuration and time. Applying for AdSense for video within the Google AdSense platform should only be used for publishers who are using a custom or standalone video player, and generally you'll know if you fit into this category. If you're looking for more information on monetizing your videos with YouTube, there's actually a great article that I have open here in another tab that tells you all of the criteria you need to meet in order to be able to monetize your videos and just gives you a guide to the steps that you need to take to get your videos up on YouTube with ads being displayed so that you're earning revenue. Over my years of using Google AdSense, I've discovered a few tips and strategies that will help you optimize the performance of advertisements on your website. First, you need to take into consideration the placement of ad units on your website. Users are more likely to see and click on advertisements at the top and to the left of your web page. It's also a good idea to use the Google recommended ad sizes. These ad units have proven to be the most effective in terms of revenue generation for Google AdSense publishers. As you can see, the web page example on the left is optimized for AdSense performance. The website on the right is unoptimized because the ad size is not one of Google's recommended sizes and it's placed at the bottom right of the page, where users are much less likely to see or click on the ad. It's also important to create a balance between content and ads on your site. Ads should be near the main body of your content so that users can easily see them and click on them if they desire. But you don't want your ads to be so intrusive that people leave your site because of them. Remember, the more page views our website receives, the more revenue we're going to earn with Google AdSense. I also want to share with you how I forecast future revenue from Google AdSense. I've mentioned this method a few times throughout the course, but let's go ahead and break it down a little bit. First of all, you need to find out your average revenue per thousand impressions, or RPM, over a good span of time. Usually the last 30 to 90 days is a good enough span of time to use. Then, find out the average monthly page views you're receiving for the last 30 to 90 days. With those two numbers, we can use a simple equation to forecast our future monthly earnings. If we take our average RPM, multiply it by our average monthly page views divided by 1,000, we will get a forecast of monthly revenue from AdSense going forward. Lastly, each website and blog is different, so as you use AdSense, make sure that you're always experimenting and trying new configurations to discover which methods and strategies work best for your particular website. If you plan on displaying AdSense advertisements on multiple different websites, it's probably a good idea to use the same AdSense account to manage your units across all of your different websites. This will make managing your display units easier and will allow for more accurate and centralized administration of all of your web properties. Your other option would be to create a separate AdSense account for each of your websites, but by doing that, you'd be duplicating a lot of the configuration and management tasks that would result really in a decreased efficiency. To allow AdSense to display ads on multiple websites, you need to navigate to the Allow and Block Ads section of AdSense, which you can access from the top toolbar from the home page. Once in this section of Google AdSense, you can manage which websites are allowed to display your AdSense ads by clicking on the Manage link in the left side of your screen near the Content section. This will take you to the Site Management section of Google AdSense. In this section, we can specify other websites that we own by entering the URL of each website in the text box available in the Owned section of our screen. In this section, you need to enter each website individually and then click the Add button for each individual website. Once you click the Add button, the website will be added to the list of websites and you'll now be able to display ad units and start earning AdSense revenue from that website. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to add our other website, which is kineticoinc.com. And before I actually add this, I also want to mention that next to this Owned tab, you'll notice that there's another tab labeled Unclaimed. That section lists any websites that have tried to, at some point, display advertisements from your Google AdSense account. The websites listed there will properly display advertisements, but those ads won't earn any revenue for you until they've been officially added to your account. So if you see any websites listed in this section, as you can see right now, we have 0. But if you do see some over there, it's a good idea to add them to your owned list so that you can begin accruing revenue from those websites. So let's go ahead and add the kineticoinc.com website to our list. As you can see, the kineticoinc.com website has now been added to our list. And once you've specified all the websites that you'd like to display advertisements from your Google AdSense account, you can begin to configure specific ad units for each website, as we discussed earlier in the course, and you'll start to accrue revenue when advertisements are shown on all of the websites in our list here. On certain occasions, you may want to block specific advertisers from being able to display advertisements on your website. There are multiple ways that you can do this, and in the following videos in this chapter, we'll discuss all of the different options you have for blocking advertisers or specific advertisements. In this video, we're specifically going to talk about how you can block advertisements based on the destination URL of the advertisement. To get to the area of Google AdSense where you can block certain advertisers and advertisements, you need to click on the Allow and Block Ads tab at the top of your Google AdSense homepage. From here, we have all of the different options to block ads on our website. In this video, we're going to talk about blocking ads based on the advertiser URL. Now, I think this is the most challenging way to block an advertisement because it can be difficult to find out the destination URL of an ad without actually clicking on that ad, which would be a violation of the Google AdSense program policies. So the method that I like to use involves using a plugin for Google Chrome, which I have open here in another tab. It's called the Google Publisher Toolbar. And when you install this toolbar and you mouse over an advertisement on your website, this little pop-up box will appear saying the size of the ad, the company that pays for the ad, and the destination URL of the ad, which is what we're looking for. So if I wanted to block this ad or any ads leading to google.com/adwords on my website, I could just enter google.com/adwords in the appropriate section in Google AdSense. I could just enter the URL in this text box here and then click the Block URLs button. For this example, I'm going to block another lynda.com brand that we use. So the website's actually hanselandpedal.com. So when I enter that into the box and click Block URLs, you'll notice that hanselandpedal.com has now been added to my blocked list, and any ads leading to this website will no longer show up on my website. So that's how you can block ads that lead to a specific URL from showing up on your website. In Google AdSense, we can block advertisements from a specific topic or category from being displayed on our website. Because Google AdSense automatically displays advertisements without the publisher having to approve them first, this is a good idea for website owners that want to ensure only ads appropriate for their audience are being displayed. To access this area of Google AdSense, we need to make sure that we are in the Allow and Block Ads section from the homepage of our Google AdSense account. In this section, you'll notice that the second and third tabs both deal with blocking or allowing advertisements based on a particular category. The second tab is for managing general category advertisements, and the third tab is for managing advertisements that are in topics considered to be sensitive. So let's go ahead and click on the Sensitive Categories tab and see what some of our options are. It's important to remember that the more we limit which advertisers can and cannot display ads on our website, the more we limit the maximum possible revenue we can earn from Google AdSense. With that in mind, it's a good idea to only block those categories that you're absolutely sure you don't want to display on your website. So now that we're in the Sensitive Categories tab, we can see all of the categories here that are considered to be sensitive in Google AdSense. If we want to block one of these categories, we can simply click the switch over here to flip it. So let's say we don't want political ads to show up on our website. We want to keep it unbiased, and we don't want any type of political ad to show up on our website whatsoever. To block them, we can just flip the switch here, and now you can see that political ads are blocked and they will no longer show up on our website. Notice also that to the right of each category, over in this area of Google AdSense, we can see what percentage of the AdSense ads currently being displayed on our website fall into this category. This can give us a better idea of the effect blocking a particular category will have on our website. If the category you decide to block is currently making up a considerable percentage of the ads being displayed on your site, understand that blocking that category will definitely affect your revenue because your ad units will be filled with advertisements from the next highest bidder. If you go ahead to the top and click on the General Categories tab, you'll notice that the layout of this section of Google AdSense is the exact same as in the sensitive categories, but the categories listed are just a little different. You can allow and block ad categories in this section of Google AdSense in the same way that we did in the sensitive categories section. You can also block categories of ads from being displayed on your site if you feel those categories are not related to your users. If you do this, just remember that Google does the best job it can in displaying ads that are related to your audience and your users. So even though you think an ad category may not be relevant to your target audience, Google may have additional information about that user, such as recent search history, that warrants displaying an ad from a category that you normally wouldn't think to be relevant. Earlier in the course, I talked about ad networks and how they work. I also mentioned that Google AdSense consists of multiple ad networks. That means that when an ad unit's available on your website for advertising, Google AdSense takes bids from all of the different ad networks that they support. If at any time you decide you'd rather not give a particular ad network the option of bidding for ads on your website, you can easily do so here in Google AdSense. To block a specific ad network in Google AdSense, we need to navigate to the Allow and Block Ads section of AdSense in the top toolbar of our homepage. And then from the Allow and Block Ads section, we need to click on the tab labeled Ad Networks. On the page that appears, you'll notice that a number of ad networks are listed, and just like when we decided to block specific topics and categories in Google AdSense, we can block an ad network from displaying ads simply by flipping the switch to the left of the particular ad network. So, for example, if I wanted to block the Fox Network's ad network from being able to display ads on my website, I could simply flip this switch, and in the future, ads from the Fox Network's ad network will no longer display on my website. I actually don't want to block the Fox Network's ad network because they might be showing relevant ads right now, so I'm going to re-allow that ad network. If you scroll down to the bottom right corner of your screen, you'll notice that there are over 1,300 ad networks available on Google AdSense, and by default, all of them are allowed to display ads on your website. Generally speaking, if you're going to block a specific ad network, you should have a good reason for doing so. Just like with other aspects of Google AdSense, the more ad networks we allow to bid on our ad units, the higher bid price we will receive and the more revenue we'll make. Also notice that if we go back to the top of our screen, we have this option that says automatically allow new Google certified ad networks. This means that if a new ad network joins the Google AdSense platform, it will automatically be allowed to display ads on your website, as long as the ads being displayed aren't in categories that you've blocked in another part of the Allow and Block Ads section here in Google AdSense. Again, this is a helpful feature in regards to maximizing revenue generation and should only be disabled if the publisher has good reason for doing so. In order to maximize the revenue generated for your website, Google AdSense features a number of different types and styles of advertisements. Some examples of the different types of ads include display ads with a Google +1 button for sharing, display ads that are animated as a GIF that kind of look like a video, text and display ads tailored to the user based on their past search history, and expandable display ads which expand on the user's screen when they click on the ad. In certain situations, the publisher may decide that he or she would no longer like to have certain styles of ads displaying on their website. Let's take a look at how we can do this. We're going to be working in the same area of Google AdSense that we have been throughout this chapter so far, so make sure that you're in the Allow and Block Ads section of Google AdSense. And then go ahead and click on the Ad Serving tab. On the page that appears, you'll notice that we have a number of ad options that we can enable or disable. In the User-Based Ads section, we have the option of enabling interest-based ads, third-party ads, and social ads. Interest-based ads are ads that are displayed based on the user's website history and other information that Google's gathered about that particular user. By keeping this option enabled, you are also allowing Google to use browsing information about that user that's gathered while the user's on your site. So it's a good idea to keep this feature enabled because it will result in ads that are more tailored to the specific interests of the user currently on your website, and in turn, higher click-through rate and more revenue. Third-party ads are ads based on information gathered by particular advertisers and that has been shared with Google. These ads are very similar to interest-based ads, but the user data used to display these ads may be gathered by a company other than Google, such as one of the ad networks used by Google. Again, if you're looking to maximize your potential revenue, you would want this option enabled as well. Social ads are advertisements that the user's Google Plus followers, usually friends and family, have +1 using the Google +1 button. These ads should also be relevant to your users because if somebody they follow on Google Plus and presumably trust likes a particular advertisement, there's a good chance that the user in question will also find the same advertisement relevant. If we move down the page a little bit, enhanced text ads are basically text advertisements that contain some rich media features, such as a company logo or product images. Generally, rich media ads have a higher click-through rate because they're more attractive to the users, so keeping this feature enabled should also contribute to higher potential revenue for your website. The similar-sized display ads feature allows ads to be displayed on your website even if the ad is smaller than the space allotted by the particular ad unit. This means that you may have a 250 by 250 ad unit on your website, but an advertisement sized 120 by 250 is still allowed to display in that spot if it has the highest bid price. Again, if you're looking to maximize your revenue, keep this feature enabled. Enhanced display ads are advertisements that feature rich media and interactivity. For example, an ad might be displayed that when the user mouses over it, the user's cursor changes to look like something related to the ad. These ads tend to perform very well and attract some of the more credible and name brand organizations. So it's definitely a good idea to keep these ads enabled on your website as well. Animated display ads are advertisements that may appear like a video to your users. Similar to the enhanced display ads, keep these type of advertisements enabled on your website as well because they will attract more well-known companies and higher click-through rates. Expandable ads are advertisements that may expand beyond the size of the ad unit if the user clicks on the particular ad. Again, to maximize our revenue, it's a good idea to keep these ads enabled as well. Also be aware that because these ads may expand into the content of your site once clicked, they may affect the user experience a little more than the other ads that we're talking about in this section of Google AdSense. As a conclusion for this section of AdSense, it's a good idea to keep all of these types of ads enabled if you want to maximize your revenue. Now, there may be certain situations where you wouldn't want certain ad formats to appear on your website. For example, maybe you have an interactive game on your website, and featuring expandable ads that may expand into the game itself would greatly take away from your user experience. This might be a good situation where you'd want to disable expandable ads. Remember also that at any time during the future, you can return to this section of Google AdSense and enable or disable any of the types of advertisements listed on this page. If at some point you see an ad on your website that you'd like to block from being displayed in the future, you can do so here in Google AdSense. First, we need to navigate to the Allow and Block Ads section of our Google AdSense account. From here, we need to click on the last tab that's labeled Ads Ad Review Center. On this tab, you'll see a sample of some of the advertisements that are showing up on your website. To block one of the advertisements, you can mouse over the ad and click on the Block button at the bottom. At the same time, maybe this advertisement is showing up in different locations on your website and in different formats. So what you could do is you could actually click the drop-down arrow to the right of Block, and you could block the entire AdWords account, which means any ads that come from that account will no longer be displayed on your website. At the same time, you can also go to the top right of your screen and click on this Filters button, which would allow you to search for specific ads. So if you see an ad you don't like, you could search for the company or the URL that the ad leads to here in the Ads Matching section, and then go ahead and block that specific ad. If you decide at some point in the future that you want to unblock an ad, you can navigate to the Blocked section, and you can unblock an ad in the same way that we blocked it. Mouse over it and click the Unblocked button. If you want to unblock an AdWords account that you've blocked, you can click on the Settings tab, and all AdWords accounts that have been previously blocked will be listed down here at the bottom. And if you wanted to allow ads from that AdWords account to start showing up, you could simply unblock it. By default in Google AdSense, when you place an ad unit on your website, advertisements will automatically start showing up within that ad unit without needing any approval from you, the website owner. If, however, you'd like to approve ads before they show up on your website, you can enable a feature in Google AdSense that will allow you 24 hours to review and approve any ads before they show up on your website. To access this feature in Google AdSense, we need to navigate to the Allow and Block Ads section of Google AdSense. And then from here, we need to click on the Ads Ad Review Center tab. Within the Ad Review Center tab, we can click on the Settings tab, and you'll notice that there's this option that says Running or Holding Ads. By default, this setting is set to run ads immediately without any approval. If, however, you check the radio dial that says Hold Placement Targeted Ads for 24 hours so they can be reviewed, and you save this setting, another tab will appear at the top of your screen here that says Upcoming. And if you click on the Upcoming tab, it will look just like the ads look in the Shown tab, but you have the option to approve or unapprove that ad to either allow it to show up on your website or not allow it to show up on your website. If, however, you don't review that ad within 24 hours, it will automatically run on your website. There's no way in Google AdSense to enable a feature that makes it so only approved ads can show on your website even after 24 hours. So if you are going to review ads before they appear on your website, be aware that you're probably going to have to come into Google AdSense regularly so that you can view those ads before they actually show up on your website. Before we go into the Performance Reports section of Google AdSense, it's important to take a look at a few key terms that we're going to be seeing within that section. The first one is page views. Page views in Google AdSense are when an advertisement in a Google AdSense ad unit is viewed by a user on a website. The more page views you have, the more money you're going to make. The second term is clicks, which is pretty straightforward. When a user clicks on an advertisement in a Google AdSense ad unit, a click is recorded, and we'll see that in the performance reports. Click-through rate is the ratio of clicks a particular ad on a website receives in comparison to the total number of page views it has received. So for example, if you receive 100 page views on a certain advertisement and it was clicked once, your click-through rate is going to be 1%. Cost per click is the amount of money paid by an advertiser for each click an ad receives in a Google AdSense ad unit. So every time somebody clicks on an ad on your website, an advertiser is paying a certain amount of money for that specific click. So when we take a look at the performance reports within Google AdSense, we can see what our average cost per click is. Revenue per thousand impressions, also known as RPM, is the average amount of revenue earned by a publisher for 1,000 impressions on a particular ad unit or website. I talked about this term earlier in the course, but I think it's really important because this, to me, is the best metric that I use to measure the performance of my Google AdSense advertisements. Estimated earnings is the total amount of revenue earned by a publisher regardless of the number of page views. So as we take a look at the Google AdSense performance reports, we might look at a monthly view of our performance. If we take a look at the estimated earnings in that report, we'll be seeing the estimated earnings for that month. If we take a look at a daily view within the performance reports section, we'll only be seeing the estimated earnings for that day, which again is important because it's how much money you're earning. Ad requests refer to the total number of times an ad unit on a particular website requests Google AdSense to serve a relevant and related advertisement. In other words, every time a user goes to a page on your website with an ad unit, that ad unit is requesting Google AdSense to put an ad inside of it. Hopefully, as we'll talk about with the next term, every time you request an advertisement to be served, one appears on your website. Because the term coverage refers to the percentage of ad requests in which a relevant and related advertisement is found and displayed within the ad unit. So if every time an ad unit requests an advertisement from Google AdSense and an advertisement is placed within that ad unit, your coverage is going to be 100%. And that's really what you want. You don't want an ad unit to request an advertisement and nothing to be found to put in that ad unit. That means that you might need some additional keywords, or you might have to tweak the title on your page so that Google can more easily find a relevant advertisement to display on your web page. Also, remember that with this course, there's a handout sheet that has a number of definitions so that you can print out that sheet and have it next to you to refer back to as we take a look deeper into the performance report section of Google AdSense. In this section of the course, we're going to talk about the performance of ads displayed on our website. So we've gone ahead and we've added some sample data into our account. As you can see, we're still on the Google AdSense homepage, but with data now on our account, this homepage turns into a dashboard where we can get a bird's eye view at some of the activity within our AdSense account. We can see our earnings for the current day, as well as our earnings for the current month and last month, and we can also compare our earnings from this month to last month. As we move down the page, we also have this scorecard section, which allows us to see how well our site is optimized. The multi-screen area tells us how well our website is optimized for mobile devices, so for tablets and smartphones. The revenue optimization area tells us how well we've done in optimizing our website for AdSense display ads. In other words, are we letting both text and display ads appear on our page, and are we using Google's recommended ad formats? If not, we can try and improve upon our optimization to help increase our revenue. In the Site Health section really talks about how fast your website's loading. The faster your website loads, the more likely users are to stay on your page and click on advertisements. So it's a good idea to keep an eye on this section of the dashboard so you can try and improve your website going forward. As we move down the page, we get a little bit more detailed information as to today's performance. So we can see the number of page views, what our RPM for today is, and again, that's one of my favorite metrics to use here in Google AdSense. We can also see what the top channels are today. So if you're making use of custom channels here in Google AdSense, you don't even have to go to the performance reports section. You can view their performance for today right here. If you have multiple sites here within Google AdSense, you can see which site is performing best, as well as the top countries that are visiting your site and the top platforms that users are using to access your website. So without even going to the performance reports section of Google AdSense, we can get a quick overview of our current day's performance and see how well we're doing with our Google AdSense advertisements. To view performance reports for how your Google AdSense advertisements are performing on your website, go ahead and click on the Performance Reports link at the top of your Google AdSense homepage. By default, in the Performance Reports section, Google displays information for the last 7 days and groups that information by day. We can tell that we're looking at information from the last 7 days by taking a look at the top right of our screen. We can see that we're looking at information from the dates March 5th to March 11th. We can also tell that this information is grouped by day by taking a look at the top left of our screen. We're currently in the entire account by day view, which we can tell because it's highlighted in a little bit darker gray color. Now, as we take a look at the information on our screen, I'm going to scroll down a little bit, we'll notice that the first numbers we see are actually total numbers for the date range we've selected. So for the dates March 5th to March 11th, the total estimated earnings are $145.69. The total page views are 76,535, and so forth. Also notice that we have some information displayed in a line graph format. Right now, the only information that's showing up on our graph is the estimated earnings, and we can tell that because we have a green line on our graph, and the color underneath estimated earnings is green. If we wanted to also view another piece of information, such as page views on our line graph, we could click on page views, and you'll notice that the color blue appears underneath page views, and a blue line appears on our graph. So this is a great way to get a graphical view of your AdSense performance. We can also take a look at the bottom of our page where we can see the information is still grouped by day, but it's in table format. So we can see that for Wednesday, March 5th, we had 11,844 page views, 757 clicks, and so forth. Now, at some point, you might want to change up the range of dates that you're looking at, and you can do so by going back up here to the top right of your screen and clicking on the Date Range dropdown. From here, we have a number of quick date options that we could use. We could just look at statistics from today, from yesterday, the last 7 days, and so forth. Also, on the left side of this box, we have the option to specify a custom date range. So let's say we wanted to look at all of the statistics just from this year. We could go ahead and click on the first field here and go back to January 1st. Select January 1st and click Apply. Now the information that's displayed on our screen is for the date ranges January 1st to March 11th. It's still grouped by day, as we can see in our line chart, as well as our table down here at the bottom. But we have a much larger view of information and a lot more data here. If you scroll all the way to the bottom of this table, you'll notice that there are also some averages and totals, which can give you a good idea of some of the trends on your website. I mentioned earlier in the course that in order to gauge how much money you're going to make from Google AdSense, you need to have a base RPM number to go by. So we can take a look at this field over here. This is actually our RPM field, which we can see if we look up here at the top. That's our page RPM. Going back down, we can see that for this year, our average RPM is $7.23. So if we also take a look over here at our average page views, we can do the math and we can see how much money we're averaging per day by multiplying 11,000 by $7.23. By doing the math on those two numbers, you can get a better idea of how much money you're going to make in the future. But you do have to have some data to work with in order for that to work. Now, at the same time, since we're looking at such a wide date range, instead of looking at all of this data by day, we could also look at this data from a weekly view by going up here to the top left and clicking Entire Account by Week. In this view, we're still looking at the same date range, January 1st to March 11th, but now we're grouping that information by week, both in our line graph and in our table at the bottom. So you can see these numbers are a little bit easier to consume because we can see them in a more condensed version. We can still see that our average RPM is still $7.23, but now we're looking at the page RPM per week instead of by day. So this is a good way to get a bird's eye view at information over a longer period of time. In the last video, we took a look at the Performance Reports section of Google AdSense, and we saw some basic information such as page views and estimated earnings. In this video, we're going to take a more detailed look at our performance reports, and I'm going to show you how you can filter some information out. So let's go ahead and head back to the Performance Reports section of Google AdSense. And from here, I actually want to look at some more detailed information about one specific day. So I'm going to change my date filter in the top right to yesterday, so we have a whole day's worth of data. So when I change that to yesterday, you can see we have all the basic information that we saw in the last video. But over on the left side of our screen, we have all of these different filters that we can use that I've mentioned a few times throughout the course. So we can view data about our custom channels. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. Remember, I said if we create a custom channel, we'll be able to go into Google Analytics and look at the data specific to that custom channel. So we have a few custom channels here in our sample data, and we can look at the performance of them. We can see that the InPost Square 1 custom channel is our top performing custom channel in terms of earnings, and it also looks like it's our top performing channel in terms of revenue per 1,000 page views. So we could take a look at that custom channel and maybe see what type of advertisements we're displaying in there and try and get them to display more on our website. Because if we look at InPost Square 2, which is another custom channel, the RPM is almost a third of what InPost Square 1 is. So whatever we're doing right with the InPost Square 1 custom channel, we could try and duplicate that with other advertisements on our site. Now, you're not just limited to custom channels with these filters. You can also look at any URL channels that you've set up. If you're using multiple websites, you could compare and contrast between the data of the different websites that you have here in AdSense. We could also look at the countries section. So we can click on this area, and we can see that most of our visitors are coming from the United States. How about our RPM, though? Look at Australia. Our Australian visitors are earning us the most revenue per visit. Not sure why that's happening, but maybe we could tailor more of our content towards Australian users to try and increase our revenue. So as you can see, using the filters on the left side of your screen here in the Performance Reports section of Google AdSense allows you to drill down to a more detailed view of the performance of your ads and improve and optimize your ads for the future to increase your overall revenue. When taking a look at your performance reports in Google AdSense, it's a good idea to notate when you have really good days and really bad days, both in terms of revenue or even just page views. Luckily, Google AdSense has a feature built right into it that allows you to do that. So let's go ahead and let's move over to the Performance Reports section of our Google AdSense account. And from here, you can see we're still in the 7-day view. And if you look at the line chart on my screen, there's one day, March 6th, that my estimated earnings spiked up a little bit. And let's say on March 6th, I actually ran a Facebook advertising campaign. Right now, I can remember that, but a year from now, I might forget exactly why my earnings went up so much on March 6th. So what I can do is I can actually click on the plus symbol down here in my line chart, and it allows me to add a note for that particular day. So I could go ahead and say, I ran a Facebook advertising campaign. When I save that note, you'll notice that down below, I have another section that's been added that has all of the events. So whenever I filter a specific time period up here in the top right that includes March 6th, this note is going to show up. So a year from now, when I take a look back at my Google AdSense analytics, I can say, oh, wow, I had a spike in income on March 6th. Why was that? I can just take a look down at my notes and see that, oh yeah, I ran a Facebook advertising campaign. So definitely make use of this feature because believe it or not, you might say, I'll never forget why I had such a good day that day. And then a year from now, your website's improving and you forget why specifically that one day you did so well. You can always take a look back at your notes and find out the reason. Hopefully by now you can see the value that can be gained by taking a look at the performance reports here in Google AdSense. In this video, I'm going to take it one step further and make looking at all of that data a little bit easier. So let's go ahead and take a look at the performance reports section of our Google AdSense account. And now let's say every day I want to know how my custom channels have performed on the previous day. What I can do is I can actually narrow down my report to the view that I want to see. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Custom Channels on the left side of my screen. And then I'm going to go over here to the right and I'm going to drill down to just yesterday's performance. Now, of course, I could come into Google AdSense every day, drill down to the specific view I want to look at, and see what the performance is. But what I can also do is I can save this as a custom report and have it emailed to me automatically so I don't even have to go into Google AdSense. To do this, I'm going to go up here to the top of my screen and I'm going to click on the button that says Save Report. In the box that pops up, I want to give the report a meaningful name, so I'll go ahead and call it Yesterday's Custom Channel Performance. Now I want to make sure I select the checkbox that says Run this report automatically. You'll notice that when I click that checkbox, I can choose how often I want this report to run. So I'm going to go ahead and say I want this report to run daily. And the information that I want to see is for yesterday. Notice I have a number of other options as well. I could choose the last 7 days, the last 30 days, or just this specific month. For this example, I want to choose yesterday. When I'm ready, I can go ahead and click the Save button at the bottom. Now, every day, I'll get an email with this report regarding the performance of my custom channels for the previous day. At the same time, if I'm already in Google AdSense and I want to view this report, I can go to the bottom left side of my screen and click on the Saved Reports link. And you'll notice that the report I just created, yesterday's custom channel report, is available for me to click on and view. Obviously, my screen doesn't change right now because I'm already viewing that report. But if I was looking at something else, the custom channel report would come right up It just makes it a little bit easier. I don't have to go and filter through the date ranges. I don't have to filter to just my custom channels. It's already done for me. So this is definitely a way to increase your efficiency when taking a look at your Google AdSense performance reports. There may come a time while using Google AdSense that you would like to export your Google AdSense data into Excel to do some more advanced calculations. So let's take a look at how we can do that. I'm going to move to the Performance Reports section of my Google AdSense account. And then from here, I'm going to bring up the report that I want to export. So I could go ahead and I could filter, let's say instead of the current week, I'll say this whole month. And then if I wanted to filter by custom channels or products, I could bring all of that information up on my screen. And once I have the report ready that I want to export, you'll notice that at the top left of my screen, I have a button that says Export to Excel CSV. And if I click that, the report is actually going to be downloaded to a CSV file, which I can then click to open up in Excel. You can see all of the same data that we were viewing in Google AdSense is now available in Excel for me to do some advanced calculations on. At the same time, I'm going to shrink this Excel window. You'll notice next to the button that says Export to Excel, we also have a drop-down list. So if you're using Google Drive, you could export the report to Google Drive. Also, if you're one of the more advanced users and you're connecting to one of Google's APIs, or if you're a SQL user and you want to run some SQL queries on your Google AdSense information, you could get the BigQuery code for this particular report. So this can definitely help you take the information from within your AdSense account, bring it into a spreadsheet program, and just get more value out of it by running some more advanced calculations. As you use your Google AdSense account, you may receive messages and notifications from the Google AdSense team. When a new message or notification comes in, you'll be notified by a red icon in the top right corner of your screen. As you can see, the icon on my screen says that I have one new message or notification. If we go ahead and click on that icon, a pop-up box will appear and any important notifications will be listed right in that preview box. You can see that this notification tells me that some of my ads have appeared on websites that I haven't authorized yet. And as I talked about earlier in the course, we would need to authorize those websites in our AdSense account to start earning revenue from them. From this notifications panel, we can also access our message inbox by clicking on the link below. In our inbox, there may be messages from the Google AdSense team to help us optimize the performance of our AdSense account. And actually, these messages come in quite often, and some of them are customized and tailored specifically for your AdSense account. So you can see we've got a few different ones in here. The latest one tells us that a new feature is available. Chat support is now an available feature in Google AdSense. As you can see, you can click on a message to open it up and read more. If you want to delete the message, you can go to the bottom right and click the Delete Forever button. And if you want to go back to your inbox, you can go to the bottom left of the message and click Go Back to Messages. As you use AdSense, definitely keep an eye on the top right of your screen so you can see any messages and notifications right as they come in. As you start to earn revenue in your Google AdSense account, it's important to know where you can take a look at your Google AdSense transaction history or where you can update any payment information. To access this area of Google AdSense, we're going to navigate to the top right of our screen and click on the gear icon. From here, we can click on the Payments link. In the Payments section of Google AdSense, we actually have 3 tabs available to us on the left side of our screen: Payment History, Payee Profile, and Payment Settings. In the Payment History section, we can review the history of any transactions that have been made associated with our Google AdSense account. Also notice that on this screen, we have the ability to sort through these transactions by a number of different ways. We can also export this report to an Excel worksheet in case we need to do any financial calculations. On the right side of this page, we can also specify a different date range for which we'd like to view information. Instead of just viewing information for the last 3 months, we could look at it for the previous year, this entire year, or a whole number of other different options. If we wanted to make changes to our payee profile, we could click on the Payee Profile link on the left side of our screen. From here, you could see that if there were any changes to your tax information, you could update them by clicking on the Update Tax Information link. If you scroll down on this page, you'll notice that we have our primary billing contact associated with our AdSense account. We could either modify this contact if the telephone number or email address changes, or we could add an entirely new billing contact to our AdSense account. If you click on the Payment Settings link on the left side of your screen, you can add a new form of payment here if you don't want to use the bank account already associated with your Google AdSense account. In Google AdSense, you need to reach a monthly threshold of over $100 to receive a payment each month. You can't make that threshold any lower. In other words, you can't specify that I want to receive a payment when I only make $50 in a given month, but you can make that threshold higher by clicking on the Configure button. From here, we could say, I don't want to receive a payment if I only make $100. I want my minimum payment to be $250. At the same time, maybe we don't want to receive payments every month. Maybe we want to receive a payment 3 months from now. We could go ahead and we could have Google AdSense hold our payment until a date in the future. So we could specify that I don't want to receive a payment until May 1st. And that way we wouldn't receive a small payment each month, but we'd get a big chunk maybe every 3 months. That's completely up to you, and you can do whatever you want in this section of Google AdSense. I'm going to cancel this for now because I currently like how my payment settings are configured. So if at any time while you're using Google AdSense you need to make any changes to your payment settings, this is where you can do it. And it's also where you can take a look at all of your transaction history so you can see how much money you're making and when that money is being sent to you from Google AdSense. As you use Google AdSense, there may come a time where you need to configure some of your account settings, such as your email preferences. To do this in Google AdSense, we're going to navigate to the top right corner of our screen and click on the gear icon. From here, we can click on the Settings link. On the page that appears, you'll notice that we have the opportunity to edit our Google account password. We could also change our contact name. Be aware that this name is different from your billing name. This is the name that Google's going to address you as when they send you emails and notifications. We can also change the contact email associated with our Google AdSense account and the contact phone number. If any of that information ever changes, this is where you can update it. Down below, we have the opportunity to configure all of our email preferences. So when we first set up the account, we subscribed to all of the available AdSense newsletters because they send a lot of interesting information and helpful tips. If at some point you're receiving too many emails, this is where you can go ahead and uncheck some of the checkboxes to unsubscribe from those email lists. Once you're ready, you can click the Save button at the bottom of your screen. Notice also on the left side of our screen we have a tab labeled Account Information. If we click on this tab, it takes us to a screen with a lot of valuable information about our AdSense account. From time to time, you may need your publisher ID when connecting your AdSense account to other Google services. If you're ever in communication with Google, they may ask you for your customer ID number for security purposes. This is a really important number and you shouldn't share it with anybody else. In this section of Google AdSense, we also have the opportunity to change our time zone. And as you use AdSense, you may have the opportunity to connect your AdSense account to other products, such as YouTube. If you've done that, any of those products that you've connected to AdSense will be listed here in the Active Products section. Lastly, if you decide that AdSense isn't the right solution for you and you want to cancel your account, you can do that here by clicking on the blue Cancel Account link. The last tab in the Account section is labeled Site Management, and we actually took a look at that earlier on in the course when we added additional websites to our Google AdSense account. You shouldn't need to access this area of Google AdSense too much, but just be aware that this is where all of this information is, and if you need to change any of the preferences that we talked about, this is where you can do it. Earlier in the course, we talked about the Google AdSense program policies, such as not being able to click on advertisements on your own website. If at some point you think that your website may have been flagged for a policy violation, or if you just want to check and make sure that you haven't been, you can do so in Google AdSense by navigating to the top right corner of your screen, clicking on the gear icon, and then clicking on the status link. On the page that appears, any violations will be listed with the name of the violation, the date that it occurred, the current status of the violation, the consequence as a result of that violation, and the website on which the violation occurred. Not all violations result in your Google AdSense account being shut down, and you should be able to tell what the status of your account is by taking a look at this screen. If you have no policy violations on record, you should be good to go in displaying advertisements with Google AdSense on your website. If you need the definition of a term that you see while using Google AdSense, or you just need help using the tool in general, be aware that there's a Help section at the very top right corner of your screen. It looks like a speech bubble with a question mark inside of it. And if you click on it, a box pops up with, first of all, some suggested articles to help you use Google AdSense. But at the very top of the box, we also have a search bar where we could type a term that we're looking to get some more information on. So we could go ahead and type page views. Notice as I start typing, Google shows us some recommended searches. So we could take a look at page RPM, page click-through rate, or page views. When I click on page views, some more suggested articles appear related to my search term. So we could go ahead and click on the page view suggested article, and you'll see that we have some more information on what a page view is. So if at any time while you're using Google AdSense, you need some more information, don't be afraid to go up to the top right corner and use the Google AdSense Help tool. Now that you have an idea of how to configure Google AdSense and start earning revenue from advertisements on your blog or website, I'd like to share a few resources with you that I use so that you can continue to optimize your AdSense performance. First, it's always a good idea to keep an eye on the official Google AdSense blog. It's at adsense.blogspot.com and features regularly updated articles containing tips and tricks to make the most out of Google AdSense. The second resource I recommend is actually a tool. Google Analytics is a powerful tool that allows you to track information about users visiting your website, such as what source they came to your website from and what pages they visited on your site. By using Google Analytics, you can gain powerful insight into the browsing habits of your users and, in turn, tweak your Google AdSense configuration appropriately to increase revenue. The next 3 resources I'd like to share are all search engine optimization blogs that I follow regularly. Search engine optimization, or SEO, is the process of making sure your website is appearing in search engines when people search topics related to your website. Although it isn't directly related to earning revenue, the more search engine optimization you can perform on your website, the more visitors you'll receive and the more revenue you'll earn. The first SEO site I follow is searchengineland.com. This site features great in-depth articles on Google search updates and SEO trends. The second site, searchenginewatch.com, also features informative articles on what's going on in the world of SEO and is another great resource to keep an eye on. The third site is the Moz blog at blog.moz.com. Although these articles don't go quite in depth as the articles on the last 2 sites, they do provide some great general information on SEO trends, and the Moz blog is definitely worth checking out from time to time. Lastly, you can actually check out my own blog, ansonalex.com, where I regularly post a number of technology-related video tutorials and help articles. Also, feel free to follow me on Twitter, @AnsonAlex. Thanks for watching, and good luck conquering the world of Google AdSense.